2.0. New Comic Book Day Book Club 2.0. We are upgrading your hard drive. We are downloading new software. There will be glitches.
To be determined.
But we're still here. It's Wednesday. I'm hanging out with my man, White Whale Comics. And you read books today?
I read books today because I felt like I needed to for this show. And
were you feeling a lot of anti-joy? How are you feeling about it?
I got some anti-joy to share today for sure.
Heck yeah. It's Wednesday. That's how we know it's Wednesday. And we get to say hello to the chat. Hello, chat.
Yeah, what's up?
Welcome to the book club. We got Ruben Guzman, who I didn't get to see at the shop today because I'm back to work, so I don't get to go first thing in the morning anymore. Drag. I got to go after work now. Hello, Todd Christian. Good to see you. Gray Matter Hulk, who I want to say has been watching this show since episode 1.
Probably, yeah.
So thank you, Gray Matter Hulk, for hanging out with us. Daymares is here. Our Dungeons and Dragons homie. Andy's here. That's his sign on.
Yeah. Well, everyone's stolen it.
The Bearded Comic Bro is here. Hello. Perry is lurking, hitting the like button, and then rolling on to video gaming, I'm sure.
Hey, a like's a like.
Unruly Simeon. I love this is a new image for him, I think.
Quite unruly.
Right? Count Von Strange, good old CVS. Good to see you. Adrian Panda Awesome. Thank you for coming by. Heroes to Icons. Thank you for hanging out. Yeah, we are shaking things up a little bit here. We were feeling a little bit like the show had become a bit of a repetition of us complaining about the same things over and over again, and basically just usually crapping on a new book. So
that typically we didn't really want to read.
Forcing ourselves to read stuff that we didn't necessarily want to be reading. So we thought it would be fun to maybe, instead of just deep diving on one book, maybe spend a little time on a few different books, talk about what we're reading. If we're both read the same book, we can certainly deep dive on it still. And if we see a book coming up that we're incredibly excited about, we can still use that springboard. But also just to get into some of the things that we're enjoying. So there's a little bit more positivity rolling through here.
Hopefully.
Hello, Kevin from 1-2 Comic Talk. Perfectly, though, hilariously almost, we both bought the same issue number 1 today without planning it. Right? I just freaking love this cover.
They look like different books, but they're the same.
Right? Yeah. Yours has the title that mine is missing. We only find them when they're dead. So we're going to crack on more than just one book. Exactly.
It's quite a lengthy title.
Superior Hero Reviews. Thank you for coming by. TJ says, glad to see you have proper lighting now, Alex.
Yeah. I mean, it was always there as an option. I just wanted to hide in the shadows.
So, I'm excited. It was a Boom Studios number 1. It's Al Ewing writing. And again, I saw almost every cover I saw was cool looking. There's the one you used for this thumbnail that I thought was really cool looking. You got the one with all the title, giant and huge, like some old alien movie.
Yes, I'm pretty sure it's the A cover, but I'm a sucker for text design, so I dug it.
I'm just here for the negativity. I'm out. Positivity, no.
Don't worry, guys. Stick around. I got some logs to drop.
Yeah, I mean we're gonna complain, and it's just guaranteed to happen. I got a couple books that I have some things to say about, but let's dive into this Al Ewing piece here. The only way to find them, we only find them when they're dead. What would you give this grade wise right off the bat here?
6.5.
I'm not far off of there. I might go as high as 7.5 on this one. There's not a ton going on here. It's very talky.
Yeah, for the amount of talky it is, there's not. I was talking to Comic Man Andy before you guys jumped on backstage for the last show about it a little bit, and the thing I said was that the concept is cool and the world seems cool, but I have no idea what the plot is.
No.
And for like the amount of dialogue and like points of exposition where he said, like, tells the characters things they clearly already know.
Yeah, there's a few of those moments when they're talking. So basically the plot is these space scavengers are at the far edges of the universe, and when a dead body of a god appears, they're harvesting it for money. Kind of like the Nowhere in Guardians of the Galaxy, where they're harvesting the brain matter from the skull of a celestial. And the whole thing basically takes place right there at one harvest, and it's a ton of talking about stuff, as opposed to like a team that's clearly been together for a long time. They wouldn't really need that much talk. That was my big frustration.
Especially when he's like, he keeps telling them, "Oh, the ship has ears. Ship has ears." Like, okay, I get that he's reminding them, but then he's like, "Hey, we're in hyperspace now. We can talk because they can't hear it." Like, they would know that,
right? They wouldn't need to be reminded over and over again.
Right. He could have easily said, you know, the ship has ears. Wait till we're in hyperspace.
And they talk a ton, considering that the ship has ears.
Yeah. So, yes, Unruly Statement says space opera takes a while to set up, for sure. But I felt like, I don't know, it just didn't grab me the way I wanted it to.
I agree.
The last page was cool, but I didn't get the rationale or what that means really, because besides the title, like, you don't get the impact of what it means. So on the last page, he says, we're going to be the first people to see one alive. And like, what does that mean? What are the consequences? What are the stakes? Why don't people see them alive? I'm sure we'll get into all of that, but it didn't, that last page, you know, splash page reveal didn't have the impact I think it should have, because I didn't get the context enough. And maybe that's just because I'm a big dum-dum.
No, I totally agree with you. And I think Gore kind of sums it up nicely here. And I will say another of the things that irked me about it was I didn't find myself particularly interested in any of the characters. Like, I wasn't like, ooh, I'm interested to see what happens to this character or the drama around this person. I didn't feel a lot of connection.
Yeah, none of the characters had personality yet.
Right. So I might get issue 2 if it's a light week, just because I do want to see a little more of this world. I like the
and it's a good writer. Like, it's not some new person. We're like, well, clearly they don't know what they're doing. You know, it's Al Ewing. We know that he knows what he's doing. So it's, you know, obviously good writers can have misses too, but
I like the art style, the way they use color to show like different parts of a ship or different ships to differentiate them. The color work is really cool. The design and like look of things is really interesting. I'm sure it's a fairly computerized art style because they add the like out of focus to things. But I dig the look of it. And the way they're carving the flesh off the
it looked gnarly
of the god. I mean, this spread page is really cool, where they're like carving into her teeth, her gums or whatever.
I found like the aesthetic of the art really cool, but at times rather confusing.
Yeah, I mean they jump around a ton, and there's a ton of ships and a ton of people they're introducing.
Period comic process, man. I agree with John and White Whale on a new book. 2020 really is a strange time for sure.
Hello, I didn't say hi to Gore Vidal officially. I didn't say hello to Herminio, Mark the Cuddy Sark. Did I miss anybody else? TK's down at the bottom, right?
TK's Batcave.
Sorry, TK. And then TJ saying, yeah, I'm glad I don't read new books and just live in the past. There you go.
Well, hey, I've got some good stuff to talk about too, so.
And I think I'm curious enough to maybe try one more issue of this and just kind of see how that second issue plays with this one. But it was not a super strong issue 1.
No, I was really rather excited for this because I love cool space stories. I love, indie books. I love creator-owned stuff. Al Ewing, like I said, is a good writer. So it had all the pieces to where I'm like, yeah, this is something I'm pretty psyched about. It's got a cool graphic cover. But yeah, just for an issue 1, it kind of missed the mark for me.
Sure. Yeah.
And we talk a lot about how things, especially indie books, image stuff, Boom Studios, all of that is, they tend to write for trades because that's where their money really is. But I think it's gotten to a point where the individual issues are suffering story-wise because they are writing for trades so much. They're writing for these 5-6 issue arcs, and they are considering that so heavily over the individual issues that they should just switch to a trade format.
It's just there's not a lot. I mean, I wonder what the consideration is on that financially and what that would do to all the retailers they've got.
Sure, right. It would be much different, but you look at something like the young adult market, which you have touched on a little bit, and how successful that is. If you put out good books, I mean, like, sure, it
hasn't hurt Raina Telgemeier. I know that.
$15 is a lot more to spend on a whim than $4 or $5 for a single issue. But if just like it's the same thing as like going to a movie, read some reviews, and if it sounds cool, pick it up. If it doesn't, check it out at a library or something,
Right.
But I think they need to either go back to writing for issues and then have it just translate to a trade, or put out trades, because right now I think it's hurting the floppies because they're not considering it as much.
Sure. I would totally agree. I think there's very few comics in the indie market that feel like they're made for floppies.
Right.
That's just me. Although, one of the things I liked about Alienated a bunch was that each issue was like focusing on a character and a story, and then together there was a larger overarching thing, but that did break up nicely for me.
And of course there are exceptions to everything,
right.
But I think just as it's moving more in that direction.
Mm-hmm. So that's the deep dive issue, I guess, for tonight. Was there more that you wanted to get into on that one?
No, I'm just thinking how glad I am we're trying this differently, because I could not have talked an hour about this book.
No, not at all. Unless we're going to cover. There's some wicked good art out there.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, the detail work on this cover, where it's like there's the skull and the floating in the background with the planet as the red eye.
Yeah.
I was just digging all of it. It's good stuff. Yeah, another one you want to talk about?
Yeah, I've got a couple more. First thing I want to talk about is this Inkblot #1.
Ooh, Image.
It's a new Image book, and I picked it up strictly because it's by Emma Kubert, who is a 3rd-generation comic creator now.
Really?
I don't know if she's the daughter of Andy or Adam, but granddaughter of Joe.
Wow.
So really cool that to see that. I think Stephanie Buscema maybe is also 3rd generation, or definitely 2nd generation. But anyway, unfortunately, this was a dumpster fire.
Oh, the dumpster fire of the week is Inkblot.
For me, this was just from cover to cover, really rough to read. Really, really rough.
What's the concept? What's the idea here?
So the concept is that there's this world where the main character and her siblings are kind of immortals who have like crafted this world because they one of her brothers found out that they could kill magical creatures and gain power from it, and then he was able to create this rift in the universe to access these other multiverses, dimensions, and they all kind of split up to their own rules. And the main character is kind of like the scribe or the librarian for this world, so she is kind of like the ignored sibling, because she is always writing about everyone else's adventures and she doesn't really have her own. And she nods off, and there's this magical beam that beams in this cat, who then opens up a rift to this world, and there's giants and they're running around, and then they run into this other world, and that's it.
Okay.
But there's a whole lot of narration, and then like 4 pages of her trying to catch a cat. I really like this. Everything I complain about, besides the last page of villain reveal, was in this book. It was just like exposition. It was, you know what this felt like? It felt like a trade's worth of content crammed into one issue, but like in the worst way. So yeah, really, really a shame. Nothing against the creators. You missed the mark on this one.
They can't all be winners. I mean, there's plenty of image failures on the old scrap heap there.
So yeah, I'm glad Sean McCurdy said there's been not good reviews all over the community. So I'm glad I'm not the only one who's
flirking.
dunking on
it. The only image I got this week was, of course, Die.
Yeah.
Issue 13, and I actually really dig this.
Yeah, it's a cool cover.
This cover is really cool looking, and it continues to be. I feel like it continues to like be this. The third volume of this saga seems to be the origin of the game, right? That's kind of like the big get here in these 5. So like the first 5 issues was the setup. The second 5 was this party split. And then the third group of issues, it seems to be focused on like where did this game come from? Why is it operating the way it does?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm digging like the back. I'm not going to spoil anything because I know Alec hasn't read very much beyond the first trade, right?
Yeah, I'm still picking it up, but I have probably 2 full short boxes of comics I've not read. So
I will say it's a book that I usually need to read twice before I can like feel like I can speak on it. And I legitimately started reading this one and was like,
is that why you buy 2 covers so you can read it twice?
Right. I started reading this one and then I had to go back and reread the previous issue just to remember all the little details and how it all ties together. Because it's getting very dense. But I've been enjoying it nonstop. There's never been like a real lull for me. I mean, there's always like, oh, that issue is not as good as whatever.
Yeah, sure.
But the origin stuff, I'm really interested in. They bring a ton of great literary references. Like H.G. Wells is a huge part of where they are right now. There was that Tolkien reference in the first volume. They bring in great literature, and I'm digging that.
Yeah, I mean, I never really lost interest in the book. I just lost steam on it because they took that big break.
Sure.
And so it kind of just like went to the back of my mind, and then other stuff was coming out and I was like, oh yeah, I kept buying it, but I was just like, well, I'll read it eventually, because it wasn't like that.
Right.
Ooh, what's going to happen next? I can't wait because I just read the last one last month.
Well, I'm getting to a place where I'm starting to feel like, do I want to just read it in trades? Do I want to keep reading it in singles? Am I going to wait for hardcovers? Because I know that knowing Image, there will be those massive hardcovers.
Yeah, if they do like a nice oversized hardcover, that's going to look so nice.
Oh, absolutely. So I'm kind of in the place where I feel like I'll buy the singles and then buy the giant hardcovers later on. That's probably where I am with this, because I'm enjoying it enough that I don't think I'm going to stop at any point. But I might not keep going with buying both covers for forever. I've never done that with any book but this one. So that's my Image book. I'm really digging it. I'm here for the Inane Babble. Could we get some more of that? You missed. That's the show before this one.
Yeah, that's a show you're on. Were you not paying attention?
Yeah, you're on that show.
What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. I mean, it's hard too when like both covers are always cool to not want to buy both.
Yeah, for sure. Kevin, if you're missing those issues and you can't find them, let me know. I'll check my shop. Just send me a message on Instagram so I don't forget. Of course, as Chaos convinced me to eventually read Die, I read the first issue, but it didn't compel me. I had no idea it was going in a literary direction. I'll get it in trade. There's just a lot of great, culture references, and literature is a big part. H.G. Wells is a huge part in this volume 5. In issue 2 and 3, I think they bring in some Tolkien references. It's kind of as if the game is in ways self-aware, and that it draws off of the creators of the game and pulls things from their interests. And so clearly Tolkien is a huge part, and that played into issues 2 and 3. And then, now it's been H.G. Wells the last 2 and probably ongoing 3 or 4 issues. All right, what do you got?
Something that I was very excited to come out this week that I thought looked really cool was this book, Grendel, Kentucky, from AWA.
I didn't grab it. AWA? Okay.
Yeah. This is like the antithesis of Inkblot, where it was super subtle most of the way through, and it just kind of like puts you into this town called Grendel, Kentucky, and introduces you to the characters in a very natural way, where they're just, it's just in the middle of their day. Things are happening, but it's not like, when I was this age and this happened, and when back in Grendel, Kentucky, and the blah blah blah. It's just, so it, like, at first you're like, okay, I don't know what's happening in this book, because this guy just gets pulled over by the cops, and then there's someone else in a bar fight, and you're just like, okay, this I don't know what's happening, but it's just introducing the characters. And then you find out that this guy on the cover, his dad passed away. So then you have the funeral and all this, and it's just, it's building and building and building. And then there's a really cool twist at the end that I don't want to spoil in case anyone reads it. But the art in this was phenomenal, really blew me away. The cover looks awesome, but the interiors look great. Very moody, very... a lot of emotion and movement and atmosphere, and just like it, in a way, reminded me of that Texas Blood, where it was just, it had like a very intentional pace, and kind of just like it was just telling you just enough for you to understand what's happening without like overwhelming you with a bunch of stuff that
lighter on plot and more on like atmosphere.
Yeah, which is, I don't know, I guess exactly what I want from a comic, because I really like that Texas Blood and I really like this. So I would recommend tracking one of these down.
Nice.
AWA is doing some cool stuff. Glad to see smaller publishers putting out some good books. AWA is killing it. Yeah, for sure. Sean's
with you on that one for sure. I don't know if I have any more indies. I got a Marvel and a couple of DCs. I'm still buying it.
Really?
I am. I want to be able to speak on it, and I don't want to speak out of turn. So I bought it. I will legitimately say. So I've read the original run of Deceased. I've now read the first 3 issues of Dead Planet. I've read, is it Unkillables? No, it's not. What's the one with Mr. Miracle and Big Barda? I read that one.
Yeah.
I haven't read the one with all the villains. That's the only one I didn't get a hold of. This is the single best issue they've made.
Really?
Yeah. But I mean, it stars John Constantine, Zatanna, Swamp Thing, and like Mr. Miracle, and some really great. It's the good characters. It's not focused all on John Kent and Damian Wayne. They take a bit more of a backseat, which I kind of like. And I also feel like this is the first issue I can legitimately say nobody does something stupid and out of character, which has always been the thing that irked me the most, is they take characters I like and have them do stupid things. And that's frustrating to me. A Good Day to Die. Thank you, Bearded. Yeah, that's the one I read. Good Day to Die is the Big Barda, Mr. Miracle storyline. Unkillables I have not gotten a hold of yet. I need to read that one. I got to get to that one.
And Hermenio Reyes says, I love the Deceased series, which I think we both realize we are in the minority of being not fans of the series because most people seem to like it. But boy, it's a total stinker for me.
For me, yeah. I mean, for me, I think I get frustrated when characters I like are given short shrift, and I understand that like he wants to, or Tom Taylor wants to focus on certain characters, so he quickly was eliminating other ones. I just didn't like how he did it. I didn't like the way in which he did it, and he made characters look foolish. I'm still bugged about Cyborg and the way he died in that saga. It's senselessly foolish for me. But again, I will legitimately say this is the best single issue of the run for my money. I was very entertained by this one. Of course, I love the V for Vendetta.
Yeah, cool.
I thought it was kind of cool. I love it's a ton of Constantine and Swamp Thing and Detective Chimp. It's basically like the Justice League Dark.
Right.
So for me, that's what made it the better issue of the run. They focused on those guys, and none of them did something stupid. So.
As much as I complained about the first issue of that new series, I mean, not nearly as much as the original -- I still liked it way better than Seven Secrets. That was.
I'm with you 100%.
Woof.
Yeah, Swamp Thing in the last 2 issues has been a big part of it. He somehow survived the purge of planet Earth, and he's connected to all the living plants on Earth that are still going, and his storyline in the last 2 issues has been he's hearing plants calling out to him in pain and horror from this continent, and he's trying to lead the Justice League Dark down there to figure out what's happening to the plants in this one place. So you get it's Swamp Thing, Detective Chimp, Zatanna, and Constantine, and a few others going down there to investigate, and that they had trouble at the end of last issue, and then they have more trouble here.
Yeah, I know Seven Secrets isn't. I feel like Seven Secrets was a bit more divisive because I've talked to some people who also really hated it. I've read some really scathing reviews of it, and I've read some really positive reviews of it. I thought it was just, it was. Blech.
Yeah, I mean, I have zero interest in reading another issue versus the one from. I'm never going to remember that. We get them when they're dead. Whatever it is.
We only find them when they're dead.
That one I'm more willing to read a second issue.
Yeah, I didn't dislike that book at all. I just wasn't grabbed by it the way I wanted to be. But yeah, I don't know. Seven Secrets. Yikes.
So this would have probably get an 8, maybe even an 8.5 out of me. That's nice. But that's the high watermark right now for this for me.
For DC stuff, that's way higher than we've talked about other issues.
And again, I'm really I want to be able to speak on it. So you could call it a content buy or a hate read or whatever, but I want to be able to speak on it. Plus, I was really happy for a V for Vendetta variant. So.
Yeah, if nothing else to cover, so have been really cool for a lot of the issues.
Yeah.
So this is something issue 3 came out today, but I finally got around to start reading it. And someone asked if either of us were reading it earlier in the chat. It is Firepower.
No, I don't know. What's the publisher?
It is an Image book. It's a Kirkman title. So this is issue 1. This is the free comic book day issue, which was the full issue 1. So if you could get your hands on that, you can read it for free. I've not read issue 3 yet, but I read it up to issue 2 today. And, it's a Kirkman book. It's fun. It's like some of the dialogue's a little clunky. And the plot is like not super original so far. But Chris Samney, I've been a fan of Chris Samney's for so long. This guy could draw the damn phone book and I would read it because he is just is it a different story? Because I flipped through I read the Free Comic Book one and I flipped through issue 1. It looked exactly the same. I'll have to go back and reread it then. It looked the same, but maybe I'm wrong. I've been wrong before. But yeah, Chris Samney, man, like the fight scenes he draws in this are just some of the coolest I've seen in a comic in so long. And his characterization of the family and the bad guys just keeps you enthralled. So art 10 out of 10, story like 7.5. So I'd give it like an 8.75.
There you go. Bearded says it's the same issue. There is a prequel trade that came out before Free Comic Book Day and issue 1.
Yeah. I knew that, which I've not read.
It is the real story. It sets where he learns the fireball stuff. It's okay, though. Okay.
But yeah, Chris Samney should be drawing every single comic book as far as I'm concerned.
What's he done before this? Because I'm not aware of him.
He did a Captain America run. I'm pretty sure he did a Daredevil run.
Okay.
He's done a bunch of work for Marvel.
I'm surprised. Maybe I read something by him and just didn't know it. Huh.
So yeah, check it out if you can still find it. My shop still had a ton of all the issues, so I'm sure you can track them down.
He did the Wade Daredevil run.
Yeah.
So the whole Wade Daredevil run was him. Then I totally know. I've read that one. That's great.
Yeah.
Nice. The origami trade paperback, I
think it's supposed to. I think he misspelled original.
I'm sorry. I'm usually better at that. I'm sorry. Okay, so the original trade paperback is a must-read. No kids today. What do you mean?
It's a little late on the.
I can hear them. They're messing around down the way. Every once in a while, I hear some bickering, and I mute the mic. I'm going to save my favorite for last. I got 2 more here. I had to get Hawkeye Free Fall, the finale of the run. I've been really enjoying this. I know that Misexplained and I have been joking a lot about how funny this is. It's a lighter, more cartoony maybe version of the Fraction Asia run. The Matthew Rosenberg I think is very funny. And this one ends starts, I should say, with a big fight between Bullseye and Hawkeye, but they're wearing each other's suits. So Hawkeye is dressed as Bullseye, and Bullseye is dressed as Ronin. And it's hilarious. They both view themselves as the best, like, aim and stuff. So they're, like, doing all these crazy moves, trying to shoot each other. Hawkeye is, like, the hardcore villain almost in this. He robs banks in this. He's like leaving guys for dead. He's he's not a real good guy in this, and it's kind of what makes it fun and funny. I'll say this issue felt rushed, like they were trying to get to the ending so that they could be done with it. And I'm sure there was a little bit of that. I felt the same way when I read Valkyrie Jane Foster, that they were kind of just rushing to the end.
Yeah.
So there were a couple of jumps in continuity or logic that I was not. So it's probably my least favorite issue of the run, but I still think it's a very entertaining run. And if you like Hawkeye, if you like those comedy Marvel books, I think this is one of those lighter reads. Overall, I think it's very entertaining.
KSA Comics. The regular paid #1 definitely had more pages. There was some extra stuff in the back, but I only really looked at the first page and last page of the story, so there might be some I don't know, might be some stuff internal, but
yeah,
it was definitely more pages. They had some like sketches and concept stuff in the back, I'm pretty sure, so it felt like you were getting something for buying it. So overall, this is the least funny of the issues. The artwork feels a little sloppier than some of the others. I mean, there's still some cool stuff. They did a cool like spread page fight. Nice.
They kind of like, the hood is across all the pages. There's lots of fun twists. A couple of fun villain cameos. It opens with Captain America getting shot by an arrow because he's coming to talk to Hawkeye, but it's it's not. It's Bullseye, and Bullseye just shoots him with an arrow. And then like a few pages later, it's Hawkeye's phone is blowing up with all these messages from people, and it's all the other Avengers. And so it says Jessica D says, "You hear about Steve?" Jack/John says, "Did you shoot me, you stupid?" Natasha R says, "We need to talk." Falcon brackets old one. In the hospital. Did you? Danny R says, "Where you at?" Katie B says, "Call me." Quentin Q said, "Heard a funny rumor, old man." So it's just like all the texts he got after hearing about how he was supposed to have shot Captain America. So I laughed. I think it's funny and a decent overall read. I don't know how to give it. I mean, this issue probably would get 7.5, but the run overall would probably get like 8.5, 9. If Pizza Dog isn't in it, then yeah, hey, I respect that. I respect that, Bearded.
Pizza Dog is the real star of the show.
No Pizza Dog in this. There's no Pizza Dog in the run. Sorry. Spoiler alert. You got anything else?
I mean, I showed them off. I'll show one if it's right here. Yeah. I showed these off on our last show, but I got the 4-pack of the Mainframe Comic-Con exclusive Scout Comics comics, which was really cool. That
I hear great things from Scout right now, and I have yet to pick up on something. I don't even know where I should start.
Yeah, there was a book that came out today. It was called something about eating or something. It had a big alligator on the cover that I wanted to get, but my shop didn't get it, so I might try to order it directly from Scout. But because that's a funny thing. You see like not a lot of times, but like anytime a Scout book you see like on the secondary market start to go up that just came out, like there's got some spec around the first issue. Sure. A lot of times you can still go right on the Scout website and order it directly.
It eats what feeds it.
Yeah, thank you. Thought that looked pretty cool. So yeah, if there's ever a book that's like $10-15 on release day or the week after from Scout, check the Scout Comics website because you might still be able to order it.
That's good to know. You can get on the web, get on the old internet there and save it. Thunderhouse says, "I got it through Kickstarter. Love the art, but it wasn't much for story. The digital zines, I don't know what they're talking. They're talking about Octobriana. Is that it? Maybe no.
Yeah, 300 issue heavy metal. That was another thing I was looking for. A really cool cover. But yeah, no one. If you don't like order that ahead of time, shops don't carry heavy metal. I feel like.
Yeah, I didn't see any at my shop, but maybe it's me. Some people saying Yasmin's really good. All right, if there's a good Scout book that you're on or that's just started up recently that I can go back on, let me know because I'm hearing good things, but I have yet to dive into that swimming pool yet.
Yeah, I've read a couple things from them that I've enjoyed, but nothing that has really knocked my socks off. But like, it's just like good, solid indie stuff.
Nice.
I mean, of mixed success as anything is going to be, but
sure. So the best drawn book I still think that is on my pull list is Last God, and I missed this issue last week because of DC's shipping drama on the West Coast, although I hear it's everywhere. So I finally got it this week, and it did not disappoint. I mean, it's just amazing. The detail and the artwork, I think, is just really, really amazing. And I dig the story just as much. Each issue is like 2 stories happening simultaneously. They use these little symbols to let you know what era you're in, like generationally, because there's like they're in the exact same place, just one generation later. I mean, the detail on the faces is really good. The artwork is great. It's a dark fantasy story. I think it's just amazing. And so this is issue 8? I don't know if it's like 12 issues in each story because they keep calling this one book 1. But the artwork, I can't rave enough about what they're doing. It's just cool. It's just really cool dark fantasy stuff. And they end each one with like a story. You can read like deeper into the universe.
Neat.
So there's a ton of content.
Yeah.
It is a black label, so what? It's $4.99 each issue. But I feel like I'm getting more out of this than any book I'm buying at DC right now.
Steven Spock asked, "How am I liking Florida so far?" Okay. I mean, half of my Florida experience has been during COVID, so it's kind of sucks because all this fun stuff I wanted to do down here, being in Florida and like enjoying going out and going to theme parks and attractions and everything, kind of can't do that as much, if at all. And the traffic's a pain in the ass. But like, I don't mind the heat. That's cool.
Sorry, I'm into this one from Biggie. Hey, Biggie, thanks for coming by, man. I think the art's really cool. I think it might be something to read and trade. If you haven't jumped into it yet. Thunderhouse is saying Last God is good. Yes, I did get the guidebook from about a couple months ago, maybe. It's like a manual for playing it as a D&D. It's a pretty cool little deep dive into the universe. So yeah, I again every week, month when I get it, I'm always looking for this because I just feel like the color work. I mean, they do some really great stuff with the way they draw the magic. The lighting. It's just cool. It's just a cool dang book. So I'm sad that it's issue 8 because that means there's probably only like 4 left to go, and then that'll be done. Sad. You all right? You just reading the chat?
It says, did y'all live through your Daredevil with White Whale? I don't know.
Did y'all live through your DD with? I don't know. Oh, Dungeons and Dragons. Yes.
Oh yeah, so far, but
it survived.
They're in the middle of for lack of a better term, a dungeon. So next time we pick back up, which will not be this Sunday, but next time we pick up, they're still in the middle of some sticky wickets. So
yep. Should be exciting to see if we can survive that.
Yeah. Someone might be dying.
As usual. So that was it for me for this week. Did you have anything else from this week?
That's all I grabbed. Some weird spec happening with some things, but that's not what this show's about. So,
I mean, yeah, I don't think we need to be like a news show or anything,
no.
But if it's interesting.
As far as new stuff that came out, that is that's all I think all I really got. I got Ascender, I got Usagi.
Oh yeah.
I got Dai, I got
But you're waiting to read those in like blocks, right?
I mean, no, I'm just lazy and I don't read as many comics as I should anymore. So I'm not like waiting to read them necessarily. I'm just not reading them.
Well, because I enjoyed Descender so much as a trade that I'm just going to read Ascender that way.
All right. I mean, I'm like 10 issues behind at this point, so I've done that to myself, but it wasn't. Yeah,
ostensibly, that's what you're doing.
Intentional.
Do you want to talk about what you're getting next week, or are you winding down? How are you feeling?
Yeah, there's like a lot of subsequent prints coming out next week that I don't really know if I want to spec on, but like Strange Academy #1 third print, some Thor subsequent prints. Right. So if your shop has those and you want to spec, I would suggest jumping on those because subsequent printings are like the new thing.
I don't get it, but yeah, that's like the thing, right?
Yeah, because they're so low print run that people want, like they're like, newsstands or anything else, like weird little variants that people are like, oh, well, that's the rarer version, so that's what I want. And yet another modern book has hit the $1,000 mark in the CGC 9.8 realm.
Yeah.
which is the new, not original, the new Amazing Fantasy 15, the first Amadeus Cho. It's $1,000 and it's 9.8 now. It's crazy. Yeah, I Got Issues always has like the best breakdown of new books on his IG.
All the covers that are coming.
Yeah, check his IG stories. He always has like the lock on what you need to look for. So
let's see here. Yeah, because for me next week, it's pretty. I mean, I've been cutting way down on my pull, so I'm getting less.
yeah, this was actually like a really big week for me.
This week or next week?
This week was.
This week was. Yeah, 5 is a lot for me, but then 2 or 1 book, I guess. But next week is like my X-Men week where I'm getting Marauders and X-Force. So it's my heavier Marvel week. So Marauders, X-Force, Something's Killing the Children is the Boom Studios book I'm getting next week.
As a 1 in 25 variant, you can find that, grab it up, because the last 1 in 25 variant is like stupid money.
Yeah, they're going crazy. I know there's a new like Web of Venom book, which I'm hit or miss on those. Some of them I really enjoy, and then some of them are just crap. I don't think there's a single DC book I'm getting next week, so I think that might be it. It might just be Marauders, X-Force, and Something's Killing the Children. It might just be 3 books.
The Bearded Comic Bro says 5 is a lot. Oh, that's like a super light week for me. Yeah, I used to be like in the 12, 13 books a week. Now I'm like 2 to 3 just because my wallet and my space and my soul can't sustain that many books anymore. Most of them, like, I wasn't enjoying them as much.
So next week, I feel like is like I have no clue what's going to be an interesting discussion book for next week. Because you're not reading Something's Killing the Children.
No, I mean, I'll definitely read it in trade. I enjoy the story. I just have not been buying it foolishly because now it's like the hottest thing in the world.
Right. Hey, Brian, thanks for coming, man.
Yeah, I got it. She says Marvel is offering incentives on all the recent second prints, 1 in 25, 150, which that's like another level of craziness.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's exactly how I feel. It is definitely batshit crazy. Yeah, Chaos is champ on buying. Like, he buys a ton of books. He's reading like crazy, but he reads a ton. I mean, if you watch his reviews, he reads everything. He reads.
Yeah. Yeah. When I was in my mid-20s, forget about it. I'd buy like anything I could get my hands on. I worked at not a comic book store, but a store that sold new comics, and I'd put them out every once in a while. I'd just be like, this looks cool. This looks cool. This looks cool. This looks cool. And I was reading them all, and I'm an old cranky man now, and I don't like anything. So,
so I guess that's kind of it for us, right?
Yeah, a lean 48 minutes.
Let us know what you thought. This is a slightly different format. We were still, let off with a deep dive like usual, but then got a chance to branch out and show a little bit of what we're reading and what we're enjoying. It felt a little breezier, maybe a little less repetitive.
Yeah, it'd be great. I think if we get a guest.
Yeah, if you want to be on with us and give this rodeo a try, let us know. Sean,
and like John said at the beginning, if a book is coming out that like someone or we are very excited about, we'll certainly like still do the old format. It's just we were a little run down from like having to buy a new issue 1 every week that we weren't necessarily excited for. We knew we were going to dump on, or it was just like it was becoming less fun.
It was always the lesser of 2 evils or 3 evils. Like which one do you think we'll hate the least? Which isn't a fun way to go into doing a show. But yeah, I liked it because I didn't read the book yet, so it came in after, didn't get spoiled. That's another good point. We're not spoiling as much, and we can breeze through that first book and get on to other stuff. Too many deaths or fires in a row will do that to a man's spirit.
True in comics and in life.
Deadpool. Ooh, is there a new Deadpool dropping next week? That's something to think about. So yeah, thanks everybody for hanging out with us. Alec, you got Dungeons and Dragons coming up in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Do you have anything between then and now?
No.
This show, I mean, next week.
This show next week on my channel. And greatest comic book show ever on Comic Core every Wednesday, where we just make total fools of ourselves. Never have any plan, and it usually goes terribly wrong, but come laugh at us or with us.
Right. So for me, I don't think I've got anything Thursday and Friday.
Comics just explained, you guys going to read the DC 7 Secrets crossover?
High on our list, definitely. Saturday night, I should be doing a little live stream hangout with Bearded Comic Bro and some friends. We're hoping Coach Vic can make it and we can hang out with him. I'm off on Sunday now, but I've got Monday. Oh, shoot. Did we move that? Nope. I don't think there's anything Monday because I think we were trying to do something, but it's not going to work. Tuesday, though, I'm back. I've been doing the if you missed on No Good Comics channel, we were talking about I thought I had, oh yeah. Omnibus, Giant Size X-Men. We read and discussed Giant Size X-Men #1, and we're going to be talking X-Men 94 on my channel on Tuesday, which I just got done reading, and I forgot that it housed one of my all-time favorite drawings of Cyclops, like ever. It's just a masterpiece. So we'll talk a ton about X-Men on Tuesday night, and then be back here on Wednesday. So that's it, folks. Everybody take it easy. Remember, hey, if you've got a good indie book, Scout book especially, let me know because I'm not reading any Scout, and I'd love to hear that. Read X-Men 94, only took 2 hours. I think you're doing something wrong there. All right. Bye, guys. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Peace out.